Okay, good evening. Hope you're having a good weekend. This is lesson 7.7, and it is yet another new way to display data. And this one is probably one you haven't seen much of. Bar graphs, circle graphs, line graphs. You've seen a lot of those. I mean, they just kind of come up in everyday life. Line plots might have been a little bit new. Histograms, you've seen those before. But this one, this is one you may have seen, but it's one that it's kind of new, and a lot of people don't understand it very well. And it's stem and leaf plots. So let's take a look at what exactly that means. And let's start with a data set. Okay, I'm going to start with a fairly small one. 23, 32, blah, 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 all the way to 44. Okay, the idea with a stem and leaf plot is that the data itself, each number is split into a stem and a leaf. Now, for two-digit numbers, it's going to be pretty obvious. The first number, the first digit, the tens digit, is going to be the stem, and the ones digit is going to be the leaf. If you had a three-digit number, you have just some decisions to make, and sometimes it's going to make sense to have two digits be the stem and one digit be the leaf. That would be for data that's a little bit more spread out. Actually, I take that back. That would be for data that's pretty close together. Whereas if the data was more spread out, you'd probably just have one digit be the stem and two digits be the leaf. So here's the idea. Let's take the number 23. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to take 23 and we're going to bring it down here, and we're going to basically break it in half. Okay, so the 2 is going to be the stem, and the 3 is going to be the leaf. Okay, now the way that works is take the number 26. Well, number 26 also starts with the 2, and so that was going to break down to 2 and 6. So when you read this, the 2 stands for the 20, and the leaves mean that the numbers over here on the right, this means that in the graph I have a 23 and a 26. Okay, so that's the idea with the stem and leaf plot. All right, let's go ahead and actually take the rest of this data. Let's put all the data into a stem and leaf plot. So first I'm going to look at all my tens digits, because those are going to be my stems. I've got a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, and a 5. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here, and these are going to be my stems. Whoops, my stylus is not working great right now. Okay, and these will be my leaves. Okay, so let's go ahead and make... Alright, that is not working. Let me get another stylus here. There we go. Alright, so my stems are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't think there's any 60s, so here we go. Alright, so I'm going to look through my data set just like when I'm doing the median. I'm going to first find the one that starts with a 1, and that's going to be 5. And so there's the stem and the leaf, and so that means 15 is in my data set. Alright, now let's go and do the two 20s. And by the way, you do want to try to put the leaves in order. So we're going to put the 23 and then the 26. So 3, 6 are the leaves. Okay, so that takes care of those. We'll underline as we go so we don't destroy the data. I've got 3 30s. I've got a 32, another 32, and a 38. So that means my leaves are 2, 2, and 8, the ones digits. I've got a 44, and I've got a 52. Okay, and we're almost done. That's the stem and leaf plot, but we always put a key in. Again, because a lot of people aren't used to seeing these, and for the key I usually use the first or last one. In this case I'll use the last one. So the key, I'm going to put a little line here, 5-2 equals 52. That way if somebody has never seen a stem and leaf plot, they have a better chance of figuring out what the heck we're actually talking about here. Okay, so you always put a key. In addition, you would always, just like with everything else, you always put a title on if you know what your data represents. Now this was just some random made-up numbers, so it's not really very easy to put a title on this. But take a look at the next example. I actually lifted this directly from the internet. As of today, 2/21/14, this is the Sochi medal count. Okay. And these are the medals by country in order of the country that's got the most gold medals, which right now is Norway, which kind of makes sense. I mean, think about Norway. It's kind of a very north, mountainous country. A lot of alpine and winter events are very popular there. Hence, they're pretty good at the Winter Olympics. Okay. What we're going to do, though, is we are going to make a stem and leaf plot from these numbers over here, the total number of medals. Okay, and this one's a little interesting. I like this data. First of all, we have two numbers that are only single digits. I believe that's Belarus and Poland. Okay, and so what we're going to use for the stem on those is we're going to use a stem of 0. So let's go ahead and get our stem and leaf plot ready. Sorry, it's not writing very great today. Okay, and we're going to do stem, and we're going to do leaf, or leaves. Okay, and so our stems, the most medals anybody has is the United States at 27. So our stems are 0, 1, and 2. And again, those are the tens digit. All right, so let's start with the ones. So 0, 4, and 0, 6 for Poland and Belarus, respectively. Next, so that takes care of this one and this one. Next, we've got the teens. I think the smallest teen is the 11, so we'll put a 1 here. Followed by that, let's see, we've got a 15 and a 16. Okay, so a 15 and a 16. Okay, and so we'll mark those off. And then we get into the 20s, and let's see, we've got a couple of 22s, so 2 and 2, those are both 22. That takes care of the Netherlands and Norway for total medals. And now finally we have Canada, Russia, and U.S., so it's going to be 24, 26, and 27 respectively. Okay, so there is a stem and leaf diagram showing the total number of medals earned by the top 10 countries to this point in the Olympic Games. Now again, don't forget the key. So again, we'll just pick one. So let's pick this last one right here. Okay, you don't have to draw anything. So the key is 2 vertical line 7 means 27. And that would be the number of medals of the United States. Now, I've already got the title up here on top of the data chart. So that counts as the title. So we have the title, the data, the stem and leaf chart, and again, we have a key to explain it. All right. So let's do one more of these. Here's an example where you have 3-digit numbers. Okay, and so if I look through these, I think quickly looking at it, every single one of these numbers starts with 100. Okay, in fact, I think the smallest number that we have in this whole list, let's see, we got a 123, 121. I think is the very smallest. That would, if we're doing landmarks of data, that would be the minimum. And the maximum is also in the hundreds. Let's see, I've got a 181. I think that's the biggest one. It is. Okay, so there's the maximum, and there's the minimum. Real quickly, we can compute the range. It's the difference between the max minus the min, so that would be a range of 60 for this one. We could put them all in order. We could find the median. But what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and make this into a stem and leaf diagram. So without even using the hint, it seems pretty obvious that if I do a stem of 1, and then put the next 2 digits, the tens digit and the 1 digit as the leaves, it wouldn't make any sense. We'd basically just have what we have right here. We'd have a 1 followed by a bunch of 2-digit numbers. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the 1, the hundreds digit, and the tens digit as the stems, and we're just going to use the ones digits as the leaves. And again, we're going from 121 to 181, so our stems, therefore, are going to go from 12 to 18, and I don't even need to make sure that all of the numbers like that we have 130s and 140s and 150s, because just like with a line plot, we want to put all of the stems from our minimum to our maximum down, even if we don't end up with any leaves. So we get 15, 16, 17, and 18. So those are my stems. All right, so let's go through, and I'm going to do 2 of these. There's 2 ways to do this. I can go through very carefully and do 1 leaf at a time. I'm going to make the leaves a different color here. Okay. And by the way, you don't always label stem and leaf. Once people know you're doing stem and leaf, it's enough just to draw this part of the graph. Okay. And what we're going to do is we're just going to go through the data kind of like we do with tallies, and then we'll go back and we'll put the leaves in order. So I'm just going to go straight across, and we're going to go 137. So that's 137. We're going to put the 7 there. 125. So that's 125. 145. 123. 181. 132. 155. 141. 140. That'll still start with a 14, so we'll put a 0 in there for the leaf. 133. Okay, and you get the idea. 138. I'm going to go a little bit faster here. 127. 150. I already have a 155. There we go. 126. 124. 130. 125. 138. Again, that's another 138. 144. 121, and 136. Okay, now, just like we do when we're doing median and we're putting them in order, let's make sure we have the right number of data points. So let's count the leaves first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right there. Let's see, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. I get 21 leaves from my stem and leaf plot down here. Okay, let's go ahead and erase that mark. And if I count my original data, I get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Okay, so we have the same number of leaves as we have original data points. A pretty good chance I have them all. All right, now what you need to do is for all of these you put them in order. Okay, and I don't have quite enough room, it looks like. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to cheat a little bit. I'm going to squeeze another stem and leaf diagram in right here. I think I've got, if I write small enough, I think I can finish the stem and leaf diagram. And again, I'm not going to actually label the stem and leaves. You don't need to do that. So let's go put all of the 12s, the 120s, in order. So the first one was a 1, followed by a 3, and then a 4, and then there were a pair of 5s. Okay, that's 1, 3, 4, pair of 5s, a 6, and a 7. Okay, for the 6 and 7. All right, for the 13, we're going to start with a 0, followed by a 2 and a 3, followed by a 6, 2 7s, and an 8. Okay, the 14s are a lot easier. It's going to be 0, 1, 4, and 5. And the 15s are going to be 0 and 5. There are no 16s, there are no 17s, and 18 is 181. Again, the key is that 18 vertical line 1 means 181. Okay? And again, I don't know what this data represents, so I can't really put a title, but normally we would always label any kind of frequency table, any kind of plot, any kind of graph, and in this case also a stem and leaf plot. Okay? Some people call these stem and leaf diagrams, some people call them stem and leaf plots. Anyway, that's it. That's how you make stem and leaf plots, and you also need to be able to answer questions if I give you a stem and leaf plot. But that's it. Hopefully you're having a great weekend. And I'm going to sign out now. So anyway, I'll see you in class, and we'll practice stem and leaf plots and also review some of the previous graphs. Don't forget, there is a quiz on Monday on sections 1 through 3. That's 7-1 through 7-3. Take care, everybody.